I've started recording my classes again. And so what I'm doing is I record them, and then on the following day, I'm uploading them to our YouTube. If you guys, I mean, most of you guys are, you're pretty much coming to every class too, but if you ever miss classes, or say you wanted to like do another day or repeat a workout, anything that we do, both fit and flex, I'm uploading them to YouTube the following day. And then I put whether it's fit or flex, and then the dates next to it. And then in like the comments of the YouTube video, I'm writing what the workout is as well. So if you guys ever want to go back to it, or like add on a day, if you miss a day and you want to follow along with one of the workouts, they're there for you guys as well. Or for anybody else, if you know anybody that's like wanting to do workouts, maybe they don't want to come on Zoom because they just don't want to be on camera, or the times or something don't work for them. You can always, it's just, if you go on Flux Life or YouTube, it's just Flux Life. We are the only Flux Life, I believe, on YouTube. So it should be pretty easy to find. It just has our logo on it. Alrighty, I guess we will go ahead and get going with our warm up. I might get Ryan or some others to jump in during, but we'll get going. So 30 jumping jacks whenever you're ready. All right, 30, shake it out. Standing up nice and tall. Let's go into our stretches, looking over our right shoulder. Back through center, look over your left. Through center, tilt the right ear down towards the right shoulder. And left ear to left shoulder. Back to center, let's do our head rolls. Drop the chin to the chest. Around to the right. 3 around to the right. 3 around to the left. Then once you get 3 and 3, head comes back to center, moving down to our shoulder rolls up, around, and forward. Get a good 3 or 4 of them in before you start adding your elbows. And then full arm circles, up, around, and forward. Two more. And reverse, up, around, and back. Just the shoulders at first. 3 to 4. Start to incorporate the elbows. And then big arm circles, up, around, and back. Two more. And then let's go out and in with the arms, nice and easy. Letting them swing, opening up the chest. Alternating the arm on top. 4 more. And shake them out. And moving down to our hips, feet right underneath your hips, knees are unlocked. Hands can come to your hip bone, send your hips back, bowing forward. Keep that spine straight, that back straight. Moving from the hips, feel the stretch in the back of your legs and your hamstrings. Couple more. One more. Coming back up to standing, taking those feet nice and wide. Toes are out to the side, moving at our hips. Let's push our right hip bone up into the side first. Both legs stay straight. Feel that stretch on that inner thigh. Take a breath. And then let's move through center, just moving to the other side. Gently pushing that left hip out. Same thing. Take another deep breath. And coming back to center, walk those feet in just a couple inches, enough so that you can do your hip rolls. Let's go to the left. We're going to come to the front, side, and back. 3 hip rolls, hip circles. each direction. Once you get 3, you can reverse, doing all 4 planes. And once you get 3 and 3, you can bring those feet right back in underneath your hips. Unlock those knees again, hands to the kneecaps. Let's drop our knees down and around, heels on the ground. Getting some movement in the ankles and knees. And the opposite direction, drop around to the left. One more. Rolling it up to standing. Let's go into our calf stretch, ankle stretch. So a little bit less of a lunge stance. Keep that back leg straight, heel on the ground, and let's bend and extend front leg. Hips face forward. As you do it, see if you can go maybe a little further, still keeping that back heel down. Get a better stretch in that ankle, pushing that hip flexor down. Let's do 2 more on this side, and then we're just going to switch. And just carefully turn around, opposite direction, opposite foot forward and back. Get that lunge stance, and then bend and extend. Back heel pressing down into the ground. Three more. And up to standing. Let's just finish with our ankles. So starting with right foot point and flex. And then around to the right, circles. And around to the left. Shake it out, switch sides, point and flex left. And circles. And reverse. Okay, shake both legs out. Take a moment, you can grab a sip of water if you need to. For our first round of exercises, you're just gonna need your dumbbells, or whatever weights you're using. So tonight, the way we're gonna split up all of our supersets, we're gonna do either 2 exercises for lower body, or we're gonna be doing 2 exercises for upper body, and we're gonna go back and forth between our supersets. So kind of focusing on one area of the body, and then we'll flip flop. So this first superset we're doing is gonna be all for the lower body. You need a pair of dumbbells, 2 dumbbells. We're gonna be doing both a deadlift, and then we're gonna go into a forward lunge, okay? So we're gonna do more of a straight leg deadlift. So feet are be close, right underneath your hips. Knees are unlocked, your dumbbells are in front of your thighs. Roll your shoulders down and back. Think about that straight back position. Inhale, reach down as far as you can, keeping that flat back, chest lifted, and then come to standing squeeze for 1. We're going for 12. When you're ready, let's start our first round. Dumbbell deadlift, feeling this in the back side of our legs. Chest up. Pushing those hips back every time. Keep them moving all the way back until you start standing back up. $12 total. Once you reach your 12, you're gonna hang on to your dumbbells. We're just gonna reposition, just giving you guys a moment to finish up. We're gonna go into our forward stepping lunge. So if you wanna just give yourself some space. So we're gonna alternate with this. We're gonna step forward, right leg, step back, right leg, and then we're gonna go into our left leg. We're doing 10 aside. So you can either count 20 total, or if you wanna count 1, 1, 2, 2, however you'd like to do it, but we're forward stepping. So dumbbells are at either side of our body if we want to use them. We're stepping forward, right, bending the left knee, pressing back, and then we're gonna go right into that left side. So 10 each side total. Try to keep that back straight. Pushing off with that front foot. Coming back to where we started. Think about that posture. Make sure you're stepping far enough. 10 each side. Once you get 10 and 10, set your weights down. Give yourself a moment here. Shake out those legs. First round, all legs. Got to get the blood flow going to them. Remember, your deadlift is just like your hinge in the beginning, keeping those weights nice and close to your body. Back position is the most important. For the forward stepping lunges, sometimes I find those to be a bit harder than the reverse ones. They really focus on your quadriceps, but if you can get a side view of yourself, try to make sure you've got two right angles kind of happening. You don't want to be too short where you're kind of crunched here. You don't want to be too long. Most people don't have this problem, but where you're like almost going into a runner's lunge stretch. You don't want that either. So kind of think as you step forward, I would like kind of maybe more of a right angle, especially with my back knee and with my front knee. You'll feel most balanced too if you're stepping there. If you step too far forward or if you step too close together, usually that's where you feel imbalanced. So if every single step feels like you're losing your balance, maybe take a look at adjusting the length of your step. All right, going back to these deadlifts, we're in round 2. Feet underneath your hips, knees are unlocked. Think about that back position. Roll those shoulders back. Keep that upper body position. Reach your hips back, standing up, squeeze, working our hamstrings. Second set of 12. Total, standing up tall each time, squeezing on top, making sure you're not overextending. Once you get your 12, go ahead, position yourself for your lunges. Remember too, if you're really struggling with the lunges, you can always do these without the weight. If you just need to focus on form, that's perfectly fine. Once you're ready, let's get into this second set of 10 each side. Pushing off that front foot. Ten and 10. Once you finish, both sides weights down. Take a breather, catch your breath. Whew. A lot of work getting both leg movements in right off the bat. We're waking up all those big muscles. Mine are a little tight today. Okay to stretch out if you need to. In between, sometimes it just takes a little bit for blood flow to start going to all the places we need it to go to. I felt colder in my house today too. I think just whenever it rains, I know cold is relative. It's never really cold here, but it feels a little colder and damper. So it can make a difference on how your body feels. All right, guys, last time around, last time deadlifts, last time lunges. Deadlifts are first. These are for 12. Unlock those knees. Think about that upper body position. Send those hips back. Keep those weights close to the body. They really should just be sliding right down your legs. Last set. $12 total. All right. Once you hit that 12, catch your breath for a moment, reset where you need to, and let's get this last set of lunges, 10 aside in. Either count 10 aside or 20 total, whatever makes more sense in your head, helps you keep track. Pushing off that front foot. And each side. Once you get 10, weights down, shake out the legs, give yourself a breather. Good news with our supersets tonight is now we're going to move on to upper body. So your lower body can relax for the next couple minutes. This next superset, this is where you need the band if you are using a band. Technically, both these exercises you can do with the dumbbells. So if you have preference and you prefer to use your dumbbells for this, you will be able to pretty easily. So we're going to do a band. We're going to do a single arm overhead press. We're going to be doing 12 a side. And then from there, we're going to take it into a band bent over row, okay? So when you're doing a single arm press with a band, one handle or one side of the band is going to be on the floor, okay? You want to step on the band with the same arm that you're going overhead with. So if I'm on my right side, I'm going to stand on the band with my right foot. Usually I kind of like to kick the handle out in front just so it doesn't trip me up with this free leg here, okay? The closer you are to the handle stepping, the easier it's going to be for yourself. The closer you are to the handle that's holding the band, the harder it's going to be for yourself. So just kind of take note. You'll probably know after one or two if you need to adjust, but we're going to be doing overhead press. We're going to do 12. And then when you go to the next side, the goal is to try to get the same resistance. So kind of visually notice where you're standing on the band so that when you go to the second side, you're going to try to step in that same spot, okay? That way you're trying to kind of work with equal resistance with band work. So standing on the band wherever you think is most appropriate. I say give yourself kind of a lot of slack for this, especially if you're tall. You might need it. Dropping that shoulder down. We're going to go right side first. Arm presses straight overhead. We come right back down to the shoulder. 12 each side. Trying to keep the shoulder away from the ear even as the arm comes up overhead. Total. Take a look at where that foot is. You're just going to switch. And I like to wrap that band around so that the handle on the floor is always in the middle. That way my band comes nicely around the outside of my body. We're going into the left side. 12 on the left side, ideally kind of the same resistance as we had on the right. Total. From there, go ahead and pick up your other handle because we're going to be going into our bent over row. So you're going to take both handles and then set that band right down in the middle. Stand on with 2 feet, hip width distance. Bending forward, make that X, okay? This is one where we want to kind of keep that resistance right in the middle. So we make the X with the band. Make sure it's with the band and not your arm. So we're starting here. We're bent forward, flat back. We drive our elbows back. We squeeze shoulder blades together. Back stays where it is. Arms come back down. 12 bent over rows. Knees are slightly unlocked. Total. Once you get 12, you can uncross your band, carefully come off of it, come back up to standing. Take your break, relax for a second. So with those single arm overheads, I mentioned where I put the handle because this is back when in the days where I used to teach at Orange. I would see a lot of people do this and they had the handle on the outside and then they stand on the band. Sometimes they do this and then we'll see how it like crosses across my body. This is just kind of uncomfortable. It's coming from like a weird pull and it's going to try to yank your like elbow forward. So I find that to be uncomfortable. And then I've seen people try to do this, like stand with the opposite foot, and that makes it even worse. So always think when you're using like one hand, keep the free handle in between your feet. And then it's just going to be more comfortable. And then it's going to be more like a direct, like you want your anchor to be right below where you're pulling from. You don't want it to be like jagged from the side. So that's why I always say handle in the middle and then standing on the band with the same foot that you're working, the same arm that's going to be working. So based on your first set, you can also evaluate, was the resistance that I did, was it too little? Was it too much? If you want more resistance, just stand a little closer to your working hand. If you need less resistance, just stand closer to the handle that's on the ground. But second time through, 12, remember whatever tension you give your first side, you want to give your second side. So be thinking about that if your second side is a little bit of your weaker side. Going to be getting the same resistance in a minute here. And then just take a minute, drag your band around, get that handle in the middle so that your band pull is from the outside, right below your shoulder. And we go to 12 on our second side. Total. Once you get your 12, get that other handle up off the ground. If you've got the ones with handles, I guess you don't have to use the one with handles, just convenient. Standing on that band, hip width distance, knees unlocked, bend forward, get that flat back position, then make your X, okay? Get those knees bent, roll those shoulders back, and then we drive our elbows back. 12 bent over rows. Total. And then coming off your band, you can set it down for a moment if you need to. Kind of relax in between, catch your breath. 2 sets down, 1 to go. All right, we got 1 more. Set that band down in the middle. Find your resistance. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit on this last set, go ahead and do so. Find your good stance. Right hand has that band, left hand if you want it to come to your hip. I just like to do this so that I can notice whether I'm twisting. Arm comes straight overhead. Last time, 12 each side. And then just take a moment, switch that band around, find that same level of resistance, make sure you're not standing on the handle. Attachment is right below your shoulder, and we go for 12, second side. Dropping that handle down, pick up that other one. Last time bent over row, 2 feet on the band, make sure your hip width distance. That's step one, unlock the knees, bend forward, make that X, shoulders back. And here we go, last time, 12, drive the elbows back, squeeze those shoulder blades together every time. Total. Once you get 12, carefully come off your band. That was our whole band series for the night. So I'm just going to set mine off and to the side. Shake out your arms a bit. We're going back to lower body. So in this next series, you need weights. We're going to be doing dumbbell squats. And then we're going to go into calf raises. And I think I'm going to make them dumbbell front squats tonight. Just a little bit different. I'll show you. So dumbbell squats, a lot of times we're holding our weights, 2 weights down by our legs here. With a front squat, think of it like goblet squat, but you get 2 weights. Okay, but so you're holding right up at your shoulders here. It just looks like this. The tops of, like, for mine, the tops of my bells are kind of resting at the top of my shoulder. I'm just holding them here in place. Doing it this way, it's also a helpful reminder not to like lean forward and round your back, because your weight will fall forward if you do that. So it'll help to keep your back a little upright. So it's good to do them every once in a while like this. So our feet are hip width distance, heels, toes, out to the side, same squat mechanics. We're sitting back, knees out to the side, we squat down, we're coming right back up. We're gonna go for 12 of these, and then we're gonna get into some calf raises. So when you're ready, 12 nice, good front squats, keeping that chest up. Butt back, knees out. Once you reach 12, release those weights down from your shoulders. They're just gonna hang down by your sides. Feel those nice shoulder stretch. Bring your feet in right underneath your hips, because we're going into calf raises. Remember, feet can be a little closer together for calf raises. We're gonna come up on the balls of our toes, rock it down. We're doing these for 15 total calf raises. So when you're ready, you can get going. Pause on top for just a moment. Keep those legs straight. $15 total. Once you get your 15, weights can set down to the side for a moment while you relax, shake out those legs. So just a tip too, as you're doing your front squats, your hands are here. I kind of want your thumbs, like the top of your bell, to stay in contact with your shoulder the whole time, but your elbows can come and flare up a little bit, okay? That's gonna help you feel more balanced. If your elbows stay on your rib cage and your shoulders stay here, it's gonna feel really uncomfortable to keep your chest up. So what's happening with my elbows a little bit is, as I go down, I'm kind of doing a little bit of this. See how my elbows come out? My weights stay on my shoulder. They're still in that same position, but I do a little bit of elbow out, elbow in, elbow out, elbow in. It just keeps the weight kind of stacked in the right place. If you're too here, like I said, you're gonna really feel like you're driving forward. And so that last set, if you felt like you couldn't get down very low because you were like, my weights are falling, on this next set, allow the elbows just to move with your squat. So think, as my knees bend, my elbows kind of come up a little bit, keep those dumbbells where they are. And then as I stand, I just kind of reverse and I can kind of come back. So just kind of keep those dumbbells stable so they're not tilting forward off of you onto the ground. That feeling anyway. So let's try it out for our second round. So we've got our 2 weights. We're gonna bring them up. So the back of the bell is just kind of resting at the top of your shoulders. You start with the elbows in close, get into that squat position. So feet wider than your hips, heels, toes out to the side. And then as you bend your knees, let those elbows kind of come up forward, out forward, and then let them come back as you stand. See if that helps you get down a little bit lower Allows you to kind of keep that squat form. Remember, we're going for 12 of these. Take your time. Elbows moving with the knees. And then relax. Weights come down. The heavier your weights are, the more you're going to feel this kind of train your shoulders too. It's actually good work for stabilizing your upper back and upper shoulders if you do some loading. Think of it like if you had a barbell and you were holding a barbell. It's the same thing with dumbbells. We're putting weight on our spine and we're kind of stabilizing it with our upper back. It's a really good postural way of doing exercise too while we're doing our lower body. All right, calf raises, if you haven't started them, we're going for 15. $15 total. Get those weights down, shake out your grip. And holding those weights, grab a sip of water, relax, catch your breath. One more set through with our lower body series. Front loaded squats. Another way to do this, if you're really new to doing front loaded squats, is you can actually place the weights over your shoulders and then balance them with your hands. This is a little bit easier to kind of maintain. It's kind of the same thing. Your elbows would kind of flare up. This is a little bit more taxing. It works a little bit harder, but it's you can have like modifications for it too. All right, we're gonna do one last time through. Let's do our best. Shut our shoulders down, get that upper back ready for this. Push those knees out, hips back, 12. Well, total. Release those arms down. Let those shoulders relax for a moment. Bring those feet in. We're gonna go for our 15 calf raises. $15 total. Once you guys reach your 15, face down, shake out those arms. All righty. We are going into a nice little arm series next. This is where you're gonna need a chair or a bench. I'm gonna use my bench because it's in my garage. But you guys feel free to use a chair. I wanna set this up on here actually so it's even. Give me a second for setup. You guys can take a moment too. Okay. So for your second exercise, you are going to need dumbbells. So if you want dumbbells nearby, you don't have to get up. You can just put them a little off to the side. But we are going to start seated. On this series, what we're going to do is we're going to do dips first, just body weight dips on the bench, and then we're going to grab our weights and we're going to do a seated bent over reverse fly. So with your dips for the chest and the backs of your arms, those triceps, our goal is 12. Give me anything between 8 and 12 though, depending on your chair and what you can control. I want you to do as many as you can, up to 12, without your shoulders doing this by your ears, okay? So if you get to like 8 and you're like, you can't control it and your shoulders to your ears, stop at 8. I want you to, or even if it's less than that, if it's 6 or whatever it ends up being, just do as many as you can with control before the shoulders start popping up. And every set, just go for as many as you can, up to 12 before the shoulders pop up. So just a review on dips. Your legs are together, everything's close together. Your hands come to the outside of your hips. You're grabbing onto the chair, and then you shimmy yourself off, right? So knees are bent. Unless you want to extend them, it is going to make it harder. So up to you. So your hips are just off of the bench. Your elbows go back. You're dropping yourself down. You're pressing yourself up. Anywhere between 6 to 12, 12 being max. When you're ready, I want you to start. Keep those shoulders away from your ears. Breathe. Whenever you hit your max, up to 12, go ahead and move yourself back up, crawl yourself back up on your chair. Relax there. Awesome if you guys were able to make it to 12 with controlling those shoulders. That's the hardest part with our dips. And then we're going to grab those weights. So if they're off to the side, go ahead and grab them. We're going to do these bent over reverse flies from a seated position. So you're going to keep those feet together, keep your knees together. You're going to take your weights. They're coming to the outsides of your legs. You're going to bend forward, almost like how we do our row, a bent over row, but now we're just seated. From there, arms come kind of, I'll show you without the weights first. They come out to the side, rounded. So, I lost one of mine. I'll go get it. Think about lifting from the back of your shoulder to the back of your elbow. It almost looks like someone has like strings and they're pulling the backs of your elbows. So it looks like this as opposed to a row where we go back. So we lift to the side, we come down. We lift to the side and we come down. You're doing that the whole time with your bent over back position. If you lost your weight like me, you might have to go scramble for it. We're going for 12 though. So we're bent forward, pulling from the backs of our elbows for 12. Make sure you're breathing. Once you reach your 12, you can set your weight off to the side. Come back up to seated position. Shake out those arms a little bit. Kind of a tough superset to go back to back. Work out those shoulders. Make sure they're relaxed and down away from your ears. We are going to be doing 3 sets of that. So based on first round, if you're able to go for 12 dips, I want you to try to go for 12 again. If whatever number you hit on your first set, ideally I want you to try to hit at least that every round, but still with that same rule of do as many as you can before you can't control the shoulders up to the ears. Once you can't do that, I want you to pause and stop, okay? It's just how you build tolerance over time is just do as many as you can, and then as you go, you'll get stronger and you'll be able to build up. But hands are on the outside of our hips. We walk our feet off just so our hips are hanging off the edge. Keep those shoulders away from our ears. We bring our elbows back. We drive up to the ceiling. Second set. Whenever you get your 12 or as many as you're doing, come back to seated for a second. Shake out those arms. We are going to grab those weights again. We're going to go into those reverse flies. So you need both weights. Start sitting up. Bring those feet together. Bring your knees together. Hands come to the outside of your legs. Lean forward with a flat back, chest lifted, and then lifting from the backs of the elbows. for 12. And then bring those weights down. Relax. I'm gonna grab a quick sip of water. Two down, one to go. Exercises that are good for dips. If you're trying to get your dips better, obviously doing dips is gonna help you get better at dips. Push-ups are gonna help you get better at dips. Triceps, tricep extension, tricep overhead extension. Those are all gonna help you get better at dips. And all of our shoulder exercises are gonna help you work the shoulders to keep your shoulders down away from your ears. So if you're struggling with them, every time we do all those other exercises, they're gonna assist you in doing this. Dips are maybe a little bit more challenging than some other motions, but it's good to practice. Hands on either side of our hips, knees and feet together. Let's walk our hips out when you're ready. Here's our last set through, as many as we can, up to 12. $12 total. And then come up, or whatever you're at. Give yourself a moment to shake out the arms. When you're ready, grab those dumbbells. You got one more set of reverse fly. Feet together, knees together, hands coming to either side of your legs, bending forward, flat back. Here we go. Pull from the backs of your elbows. And down. Relax. Shake out those arms. Alrighty, guys. So our last little superset series here, you can stick with your bench or your chair. We're gonna be doing seated hammer curls with our dumbbells. And then we're gonna go into our, we're gonna do our core exercise, seated core exercise. We've done this one before, extending our legs out, our single leg bench crunches, okay? So I'll go over that one in a minute, but we're gonna start by seated hammer curls. So with these, you just wanna make sure you're sitting far enough forward so that you can extend your arms fully and they're not hitting the chair. So if I'm like too far back on my chair, I can't extend my arms, I'll kind of get crunched up. So you might have to sit forward. And if you really keep hitting your chair, you could do these standing if you wanted. So we're starting arms down extended. Hammer curls means the thumbs are pointed forward, shoulders back, elbows tucked in. We're curling up, we're coming all the way down. We're going for 12 of these. Weights come down. Give you guys a moment to finish up with your curls. And then from there, we're gonna go into our seated crunches. So you're gonna extend both legs out, they're straight. Hands are gonna come to either side of the chair. For me, I've got the bench so I can reach behind, but you can grab on either side of your chair or whatever you have to grab on. You're leaning slightly back. So you're activating your core already because you're leaning slightly back. From there, you're gonna drive one knee in, your chest is gonna come forward, you're gonna crunch, you're gonna extend that leg out, and then you're gonna switch, crunch, extend. The challenging part doesn't really come in the crunch. The crunch part should feel like a little easier, but as you extend and get back out to that lengthening position, that's where you gotta activate that core, okay? It's not just collapse, okay? So you wanna kind of get that lean back, lean in, lean back, lean in. We're gonna be doing 10 each side. So we're getting in the position, leaning back first, legs are extended, We're gonna come right leg in, extend slow. Left leg in, extend slow. Like you're pushing on the gas very slowly. 10 each side. Ten and 10. Once you get 10 and 10, come all the way back up to seated, relax, bring those feet in. We'll take a moment here. For those seated crunches too, if that felt a little too easy for you, just so you know, the advanced version is you could do both knees together. That's an option for you. I'm gonna keep it at 1 foot in at a time tonight, but I like to give you the option if you're ready for it. All right, second set, hammer curls are first. Remember, thumbs are forward, elbows are in. Let's grab those weights. Let's sneak back to the front of our chair. Shoulders are down. When you're ready, second set of 12 hammer curls. Total. Make sure you set them down with enough room for your legs. Extending the legs out, hands come to either side of your chair or to the outside. You're leaning back slightly to start, engage that core. Knee comes in, we extend out slow. Opposite knee in, extend slow. 10 each side or 10 both legs together if you prefer to do it that way. Leaning back every time. And 10 or 10 together, and then give yourself the opportunity to sit up tall, relax, lean forward a little bit if you need to. We're gonna do that one more time before we cool down. If you need to start some mini stretches in between, you can. Before we get our last superset, our last set through, before we stretch it out. Yeah, look at it, I'm getting like a nice purpley sky coming along. Who knows what the weather forecast is around here anyways. We never know. We just have to expect anything in a day. All right, feet together, knees together, shoulders are down. Let's go. Last time through. Hammer curls for 12. Total. Set those weights off to the side. Give yourself plenty of space. Extend your legs out. Hands come to either side of your chair, leaning back. Right knee in, slowly extend out. Left knee in, slowly extend out. 10 times each side. Ten and 10. All righty, once you guys get 10 and 10, if you need to take a quick moment, catch your breath, grab a sip of water, you can. I do want to do our standing calf stretch with the weight tonight before we get into our seated one. So let's all meet there first. So keep one weight out, and we're going to do our calf stretches. Haven't done them in a couple sessions. So Right heel down, left toe up against the weight. You're just gonna lean into that just a little bit. You should feel that stretch in the back of your calf. Let's just hold and breathe here. And then switch sides when you're ready. Ooh, my left side is a lot tighter than my right side today. Then when you go back to the first side, we're just gonna bend the knee, so heel down, toe up, and then bend the knee just slightly. You should feel this down a little lower, kind of into your Achilles, lower portion of your calf and ankle. And then let's just switch. Heel down, toe up, opposite side, and then slight bend in the knee to feel that into the calf. The other foot, just move it around wherever it feels good to balance, where you can still feel that stretch. All right, let's take that weight, put it off to the side. I want to do a quad stretch tonight too. So you might need to position yourself near a wall for balance. Two ways to do this. One, keep your feet together, bring your leg back if you can grab your heel and bring your heel to your glute. If you can't do that, if you don't have that level of flexibility, if that's too challenging to get your foot, what you can do is you can bring your toe, your foot up onto your bench or your chair, and then just bring your knees together and stand up tall. And you should feel that stretch from your hip down to your knee. You might need to like hold on to something to get into a balanced position. Or if you can do this, you still might need to. But if you can reach your foot, you can reach your foot. If not, bring that back foot up onto the chair. The key is just getting your knees together. If your one knee is out in front of the other knee, you won't really feel it in the front of your leg. Whatever you need to do to get those knees together. Now let's go ahead and switch sides. The same thing. Try to get those knees together. Standing up tall, you should feel that stretch come from your hip all the way down to your kneecap. Should feel pretty good. You might find that you can grab your foot on one side, the other side you can't, and you might need to put it up on that chair. Inhale, exhale. And release down. Shake it out. Now we can make our way to our chair seated. Go through our normal series of stretches. Again, extend our right leg out, heel down, toe up. Let's stretch out that hamstring. Leaning forward, flat back. And switch sides. And bringing that leg in, let's go to our hip opener. So right foot above the knee or ankle to ankle. Let that hip drop open first. And to the outside of the knee, you can add that spinal rotation on, looking over your right shoulder. And coming back through center. You can switch legs, bring that left foot up above the knee or crossing over your ankle if you can't reach your knee. Feel that hip open first. Drop that knee down to the floor. Breathe into it. Opposite hand to the knee. Let's do our spinal twist now, looking over the left shoulder. And coming back through center. Let's untwist those legs. Give them a good shake. And moving into our upper body, right arm across our body. Let's hug it in close. Release that arm, switch sides. And release that arm. Let's bring both hands behind your back, clasp them together. Drop those shoulders down. See if you can pull those hands away from your low back. Open up the chest. Do some neck stretches here. Right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Shake your head. No. And release. And arms come forward. Really round your back, pushing forward here. Deep breath. And 2 arms overhead, reach up tall. Big inhale. And let's reach over to our right side. And back through center over to our left side. Back to center, inhale up. And exhale everything out and down. Shake it all out. Nice work, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight.